Let me ask you, when you the losses that you incurred, do you think that what percentage of it would you say was your net worth?
I mean, more. I've lost all before,
Wow.
so it's not. I've lost all before. I've lost all before because one, I was not financially intelligent. I thought I was, and I was a typical African man, African mentality, early in the early days, where I felt manhood is the same thing as financial literacy, right? I mean, those were early days where I was a management consultant. I would train banks. Every time I show up in any bank, it was many years ago. It was 300,000 they would pay me every day that I show up in a bank. 300K,
That's a
right?
lot of money
To
back then.
yeah, train to train for a whole day. 300K was
Whoa.
what I was earning. And I could do like three banks in a week. I could do four sometimes, right? So it was, but I was just giving money giving money out. I thought I was God Almighty, sent to solve every problem. So anybody that had any problem, I carried my checkbook up and down. I wrote them the check. It was a 200. I was just in my head. That's one day transaction now. I just write
Why were you just writing the checks to people? Did you feel like, oh, as a Christian, you were called to give,
exactly.
or
That
speak?
that
Okay.
was the mindset. That was the mindset, right? You are a kingdom treasurer. That was what they called us. We're kingdom treasurers. We carry our money is an extension of God's money. It's just passing through us to give it to humanity. So we are supposed to be distributors of whatever God is doing. So that was the mentality I carried way back.
When you say
I
it was the mentality, has that mentality changed now?
oh yes, totally. Totally. I mean, I didn't understand sacrificial giving. Sacrificial giving for me then was to empty hall. Now I understood. In fact, when I understood sacrificial giving, I remember, someone had asked me to give someday, and then my sacrificial giving. When I learned sacrificial giving, was not to empty and put my what's it called, my capital in in the fund. What I did was I now went back and I realized that okay, I was running generator in my house, almost every day. I'll run generator for like 10 hours, right? So what I learned to do was to now say, okay, you know what? Instead of running generator for 10 hours, I'll run it for maybe 4 hours, which means 6 hours. The money for the gas or for the fuel for the 6 hours, I'll put it aside for the next 1 month. Now, at the end of that 1 month, that money will be like maybe it was like 100K, right? And so if I drop that 100K, someone was feeling like what I dropped was too insignificant for the man of my status. And I had to have that conversation to say, am I giving to you? I'm giving to God, because if it's sacrificial giving, I made a lot of sacrifice to get this money out, right? I sacrificed my household 6 hours of not having power the way we would have power to get this one out. And so you can't tell me that it's not sacrifice unto, if it's unto God or not unto you. And I learn to have honest conversations. I'm very bold about conversations because of my background. My dad was an Anglican priest, so I understood pretty much a whole lot of things. So I was able to have the conversation to say, hey, I've made sacrifices, and if the sacrifice is not now enough for you because of the kind of car I drive, then I can't help that. But I know that I've made sacrifices. It's not,
So
but before,
basically, the concept of sacrificial giving to you is not so that you just empty your entire capital, your entire salary,
no.
or
How
is
do how,
it?
how do you even empty your capital?
Hmm.
I'm not the company. The company is different from me. The company pays me salary. I can sow from what the company pays me. I can't dip money into that's lack of corporate governance. And that's what many people teach. To say that your money is your money. So you go to your company account and then I can. What's the corporate governance like? I have stakeholders. I have board members, right? They are not figurehead people. I, a lot of people loot their company without knowing they're looting their company. And then we celebrate it.